Hey guys, welcome to my channel on domestic violence. Hope you all have had a good day. I do want to do the second part of the video, the pros and cons video. So we did the cons of leaving. Now let's do the pros of leaving, or why it would be, the pros of why it would be good to get out of a relationship or get help, whatever situation you're in. You need help with a rape that happened. You need help getting out of your domestic violence situation. So we're going to do the pros and cons. One of the pros, again, I did statistics on what people say, and I'm going based off of experience too. The first one I want to talk about is for your safety and your child's safety. Don't stay in a relationship just because it's hard to get out. It's going to be hard. But for the safety of you and your child, you need to get out. Also, when you're free, you can be your true self. Maybe you could let your guard down. You know, maybe right now you can't because you're too afraid. If I do this, he's gonna do this. Or, you know, letting your guard down so that you're not always gonna be on edge. You're not always gonna be thinking, well, if I do this, he's gonna abuse me or he's gonna hurt me because he doesn't like that. When you get out, you don't have to do that anymore. You can be yourself, your true self, your happy self. You don't have to be afraid to do things. You can do it and be happy to do it and not afraid. So letting your guard down, you know, and doing it so you're doing stuff to benefit yourself and not the abuser. I guess that's a better way to put it. Another thing, guys, is your self-esteem. It says self-esteem and self-image will improve. Again, going back to not having your guard up all the time. Your self-esteem, your self-image, thinking people are going to judge you. You're not going to have to worry about that. When you get out, you're not going to have to worry about who's going to see my black eye, who's going to see the marks, the bruises on me, who's going to judge me now. Your self-image is going to slowly increase. Slowly. Let's see another one. That goes with gaining self-confidence. Hang on, guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to reposition myself here so that you're not Alright, let's see if this works. Perfect. Okay. So, again, gaining self-confidence. For me, that was a big one. My self-esteem, self-confidence was. But then again, I've always been like that because anybody who knows me knows my mom's relationship and my relationship was never on the best terms. I was abused as a kid. A lot of people don't know that, even if you do know me. You don't know that because that's not something that I've always been open about. But it's something that me and my mom are getting help for. So my self-confidence is getting better. Facing reality and choosing growth. Knowing that you will never change, but you can by leaving. You'll never change. He or she will never change. You are who you are, and they are who they are. So basically, sorry guys, I'm not trying to read script. I did write down some notes to kind of help me with this. So, you're not going to change, and he or she is not going to change. You're not going to change as to, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't. Keyword shouldn't. You shouldn't have to change yourself to make your partner happy. And when you leave, you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to always worry about, I can't do what I like to do because it's going to piss him off. Or it's going to piss her off. Or they're going to get angry and they're going to hit me. Accepting and reaching out for help. When you get out of an abusive relationship, any abusive situation, domestic violence can be an abusive parent, an abusive partner. It could be abused by anybody. Once you get out of that situation and get away from them, you're going to be able to accept help. And by accepting the help and reaching out for help, you're going to be able to grow. And that's going to tie into growing your self-confidence, growing your self-esteem. Protecting your children. That goes back to the safety of you and your child. When you're out of a domestic situation, that's one of the pros. That's one of the biggest pros. You can protect yourself and your child. Protect your child. You'll be able to know that there's nobody harming your child. You're not being harmed because they're not around anymore. Last but not least, not being fearful and exhausted all the time. I'm going to put my computer down for a minute. Not being fearful and not being exhausted all the time. Fearful of whether or not you're doing something wrong. Fearful of when he gets home or she gets home, is the house perfect? Is there going to be something wrong? Am I going to say something to piss them off? Are my kids going to do something that's going to piss them off and they're going to take it out on me? That fear is exhausting. If you have to live in fear every day of your life, It's exhausting. Same goes for, even if it's not a domestic violence situation, fear of your rapist coming back or watching you, stalking you. It's exhausting. It is exhausting. I know from experience, personal experience. The guy that I had put away is out of jail, and it's exhausting, wondering every day, is he gonna find me? Okay, he found me. Now I have to worry about him coming to my home when my son's here. Him coming to my home when I'm not here and harming my family. Him following me. It's exhausting. Again, domestic violence. Is my mom gonna come home and be mad? Did I do the dishes? Did I take the garbage out? Did I make my bed? Did I do everything to ensure that when she gets home, she's not gonna turn into a rage and beat me? Obviously, I don't have to think about that anymore, but it was exhausting. Anytime you can get out of this situation, you're going to be excited. You're going to be full of energy. Sorry, guys. Full of energy. You're not going to be scared all the time. You're not going to be tired. You're not going to be on edge. You're going to be able to do you. Take care of you. Worry about what makes you happy. The energy to take your kid to the park because you're not worried about whether you're going to get found. The energy to go to the store and not worry about looking behind your back. Energy. You're gonna have energy. You're not gonna be exhausted. You're gonna be happy again. It's gonna take time. It really is. It's not gonna happen overnight. But if you seek the help that you need, go to counseling. Get help from family, from friends, and you're gonna see slowly life is gonna get better. Not overnight. Maybe in a week you'll learn one little step, like I can sleep at night. That's the first step. I can sleep at night. I don't have to wake up with nightmares or wake up thinking they're watching me. Week 1. Then in a couple weeks you're gonna learn you can go out and work. If you go to therapy, you're gonna work on a lot of that. I had to work on, one was my nightmares. I was having horrible nightmares every night. Then once the nightmares stopped, I was able to sleep. So I'd be able to wake up and I wouldn't be exhausted in the morning. My next step was learning that I can go out of the house without being afraid they're gonna find me. Or safety planning. Okay, I'm away from them now. If I run into them at the store, this is what I'm gonna do. A, B, C, D. And I'm gonna make a list. I'm gonna go to a manager. I'm gonna tell him, my abuser's here. Can you stay with me until they leave? or have somebody walk you to the car, or call the police if you have an order of protection so they can deal with it. Safety planning is the number one step when you get out of a relationship, a domestic violence situation, or any type of thing. The number one key is to make safety plans. I'll do another video on, I had a trauma book that I used to work on with my therapist, and our first thing we worked on was the safety plan. So one of my videos, I promise you guys I will bring it out, and I'll show you the book, and I'll show you the safety plan. I'll show you some of the stuff we worked on. But a lot of it was that book. A lot of it was that book that helped me through. I'm going to have to look for it tonight. Another thing is religion. I think that's a big one, is finding a religion that works for you. Finding a higher power that you believe in. Because once you have that established, then you can relax a little. And like for me, mine was, now that I know there's a God, now that I have a relationship with him, now I can have a little ease in my mind. God's with me. He's going to protect me. That's one thing. God will not give you more than what you can handle. I've learned that. Breaking things down. You can do anything you want to do when you're out of a relationship that is toxic. You can do anything you want to do. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Eventually, you've been wanting to go back to school. Sign up for school. Get into school. Go to school. You want to say your relationship, you couldn't work because he wouldn't allow you to work, which is a power play. You're out of that relationship. Now you can work. Now you can have money so you can get your own place. You have money so you can do things for yourself. Right away, you're going to have to depend on people. You're going to have to depend on family for somewhere to stay and for help if you have kids, relatives to watch your child while you can get a job, start working so you can provide for yourself and your children. Getting out of a domestic situation, it is hard, but it is worth it. Seeking help, it's not an easy thing to do. Asking for help, regardless of the situation, is not an easy thing. You need to swallow your pride. You need to ask for help. Because it's not easy. Some people, they don't have anybody and they have to do it on their own. I get that. There's always somebody out there that will help you. I make a commitment to anybody watching my channel. You reach out to me and I will do whatever I can to help. I relied on a lot of people to help me. I went through a really rough time in life. I ended up doing drugs to drown out the abuse that I went through, the rape I went through. And I thought, well, I don't want to deal with it, so I'm going to do drugs. I did drugs. I lost everything. Everything you could think of. I had my own place. I had my own life. I could take care of my son on my own. Once I started doing drugs, I lost all of that. My son had to live with his dad. I had to move back in with my grandmother. I had to seek help, not only for my drug addiction, but for the reason that I had a drug addiction. Once I knew what the reason was, I had to sit and I had to break it down and say, yeah, this is what's caused a lot of my problems. But now it's time to take care of it. It's time to get out of my situation. Yeah, I need help, but there are people that are willing to help. I promise you that. Not everyone is going to judge you. There's going to be some assholes, sorry for the language, but there is going to be some assholes that will judge you and will not understand because they've never been through it. Screw them. Don't pay attention to them. Find somebody that you can talk to. Find somebody that will help you. Having somebody to talk to, that's the first step. Because you can't get help unless you can physically sit down and tell somebody, I need help. I'm in a domestic situation. What do I do? Ask. What do I do? Where do I go? And I guarantee you, that person that you talk to will help you. They will research. They will call people to get you help. The next step is accepting the help. You have to accept the help before you can get out of a bad situation. Once you accept the help and you go to, whether it's a rehab for drug addiction, because that's what your domestic abuse led to, or getting help just going to a shelter. There's so many shelters. Women, for women and kids. Even if you have kids, a lot of your shelters nowadays, they will help you. It's not a bad thing to go to a shelter with a child. 99% of the time, it is better to take your child to a shelter than to have your child witness the abuse. Witness. What if the abuse goes so far as to your spouse kills you and your child had to see that? Now what's worse? You deciding to go to a shelter, or you letting your kid watch your abuser kill you or beat you so badly that you can no longer physically take care of your child? Go to the shelter. Shelters will help. They can help with getting you a job, setting you up with the right people. A lot of your shelters, they know programs that can get you into your own apartment with your child. And then they'll pay for childcare. They'll pay for utilities and to help you. There is always, 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 always a way out. I promise you that. Do not stay in a domestic violence situation. Now, we've went through the cons and the pros, or the pros and the cons. With us talking about that, yeah, the pros aren't as much. The pro list is not as much as the con list. But I'll tell you one thing. The pro list, it may be small, but the things that you're doing, big. Getting out is going to be much better than staying and dealing with the cons and dealing with the abuse. Do not stay in a situation that you might end up dead. If you have kids, what's going to happen to your kids if you die? You want your kid to live with that abuser. Because odds are, it's going to happen. So we went through the pros and the cons list. My biggest thing on the cons list that held me back was people judging and me being afraid that nobody would understand. That was the biggest thing that held me back, is being afraid to tell somebody because they would judge me, being afraid to ask for help because I would be judged. But you know what? It's not worth staying in a relationship for the fear of being judged. Screw what people think. Because if you come across a person that really cares about you, they're not going to judge you. They're going to care enough about you to help get you out of the situation. My biggest pro when I got out of my situation was my self-image, self-esteem, and safety. My self-image and self-esteem went up higher, which I was then able to remain safe because I knew I could do it. I knew my self-esteem was getting better, and I wasn't constantly downing myself and saying, I'm not worth it, because I am worth it. You are worth it. You're worth getting out of the relationship. No matter what anybody tells you, you're worth it. Okay? I always say in my videos, if you are here and you are breathing, God wants you to be here today. You have a purpose. You have a reason. Don't let the abuse take that reason away. Get help today. In the comments below, I am going to put websites, resources to get help for all types of situations. Domestic violence, rape, abuse of any kind, elderly abuse, child abuse, anything. My next videos, I'm going to be talking about a very, very tough topic. And it's going to be sex trafficking. It's happening too much. And it's going unrecognized. Our world needs to hear about it. It's very sad. And like I said, it's a very tough topic. But we'll get through it. We could get through anything that we want to. We'll put our minds to it and we'll get through it. Always remember, you are worth it. If you don't think you're worth it, I am here today to tell you you are worth it. Not only are you worth it, you're beautiful, okay? You're beautiful inside and out. And you're worth it. Get help. If you can't get help, always comment me. I would be more than happy to help any way I can. I don't care what state you're in. I'll look up the laws. I'll look up resources. I'll do whatever I can to help you get out of the trouble you're in, the domestic situation you're in, any situation you're in, elderly abuse, rape, anything. I solemnly promise you today, I will make the effort and the time to help any of my followers get help. Subscribe, like, join me again tomorrow. Everybody have a good night. You're worth it.